Hi, folks. Doug and Tom here in the studio. Our version of Two Old White Guys. And as I've told you before, I save up all these articles. And I never know which one we're going to pull. But I figured we'd pull something to discuss today from the from the viewpoint of myself at 79 and Tom, how old are you now?
75.
75. Oh my God. Yeah, I got older all of a sudden.
Yeah.
I used to only be 3 years older than you.
Is that right?
Now I'm 4 years older. Are you 75?
Yeah, I'll be 76 in January, so
okay,
we'll be back
then
on
we'll
track.
Yeah, that's how that works. Yeah, there's anyway, as you know from past episodes, our motto is we make it up as we go along, and if it's not fun, we don't do it. So I started this new thing, and we'll see how it works. And if we get to a moment in the discussion where it's going nowhere, either one of us can hit the bell.
That's the deal.
And we'll pull out another one. So I'll start us off with, I pulled this article from the Epoch Times. Are you familiar with the Epoch Times? And grant, folks, it's a conservative newspaper. And if you know us, you know we're kind of conservative. But we're, who was it? A compassionate conservative. I think it was George Bush Jr. Do you recall that?
Yeah.
Or a compassionate capitalist or
yeah.
something, which makes sense. Anyway, the headline says that Social Security benefits will rise. Okay, there we go. We got a low budget operation here. It's going to rise again. Did you know that?
Social Security benefit percentage.
2.8.
Well, but it does go up every year.
Yeah.
Right? Beginning of the year.
Yeah, like a
cost of living
COLA.
Increase. Yeah, COLA.
Cost of living. Yeah. And I don't know, what is it? It says in 2.8% in 2026, boosting payments for an estimated 75 million cost of living adjustment, the COLA. I think last year it was a big jump because I think we had those bigger inflationary numbers last year.
Yeah, right.
In fact, it was even noticeable in the checks that I know Gail and I got. But which reminded me, this COLA thing, I think most people who work for a living, not being retired like us, and I can think back to my business, they're looking for an increase in pay about every year. In your line of work, was there like an annual raise, or that was just like a given, like this thing?
Yeah, well, my business was let's say it was union, and so it was based on contracts, and so they had 3-year contract, 5-year contract. Yeah. They would usually get the biggest boost at the contract year.
Yes.
And then they'd say, and then this much in the second year, and this much in the third year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then now. Verizon being as big as it was, there's all different things. There's a lot of people that aren't union or in a contract, but the
Right.
techs are. And I was working pretty closely with the techs,
Yeah.
and they're union, and then even the management, winds up getting something. Whatever they got, then the management folks are going to get something comparable.
Yes. Yes. And then I'm guessing, because in my small business, I always figured if I had like someone leave and I had to replace somebody in a position with more responsibility, a tougher job, there'd be an increase pretty
Yeah,
quickly for that.
Oh,
So if
good,
you got a
good.
promotion,
Yeah,
and that could happen whenever they needed you or
yeah,
something like that.
right. And those things were negotiated in our business, where you had it was called top craft. You came in at a lower level,
Yeah,
and you had, I'd say, 6-month incremental increases
I see.
based on your experience and what you're worth, your value there,
Yeah,
until you reached what we call top rate at the end of
okay.
maybe it was 3 years or something like that, where you got the top money for that craft position.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I guess because it was a 3-year contract, that was kind of the plan that was laid out. So, like an individual person couldn't just make an appointment and go in and see the boss of raises and say,
Yeah, right.
I really need more money.
Yeah.
And how would they do that?
Yeah, that's not done.
That's not done.
Not at all. I mean,
see.
It's,
You wait
the contract,
for the
yeah,
contract.
You wait for the contract, yeah.
And
you want more money, work overtime.
yes.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, good. And of course, from what I understand, and I'm not sure, I think it goes into effect in January of 26.
That's right.
No tax on overtime.
Oh,
I don't
yeah, I
think that
believe
started that.
I, no, but, well, I think
Or
it does.
does it? Has that started?
Yeah. My son he does payroll for a company.
Okay.
And he's been making these adjustments, the no tax on tips and the
Get
overtime
out. So
thing.
those are in the works.
Yeah. And there are top limits on it. I think the no tax on tips is $25,000.
You're right. And that was part of the executive action that Donald Trump took.
Right. But
in the big beautiful bill.
That's right.
I guess.
Yeah. And
okay.
I'm pretty sure that those adjustments are going to be in the tax year of 2025 when we do our taxes in April.
Yeah.
These adjustments are going to be taken into consideration.
Yeah, and I think I read something today. Again, we've blown past this article, but that the withholdings, that people will adjust their withholdings, what's being withheld in their company they work in, if they educate themselves and get educated to have less withheld because their tax bills are going to be lower. If
the
they're
key
in an
word
overtime
there,
situation,
and if they've educated themselves, But, you hear, I mean, it has to do with classes too. I think you always hear about people say, "I'm getting X amount of money back." It's
right.
Like, well,
I know.
Good for you, but you let them use your money all year for nothing.
That's right.
So but
it's a forced savings, and it's not a bad thing.
So
folks.
So when you say the people that are shrewd about their money handling, they would say, well, I'm going to adjust it now.
Yeah. So, like most everything in life, it's upon you yourself as an individual,
right,
to keep yourself educated to this stuff.
Yeah.
But your personnel department, if you're in a company, will help you, I'm sure.
Right.
Because they want you to be happy too, maybe have a few more bucks in your pocket. So, Yeah, mine was a small private business.
Right. Very different, the two.
Very different. And there were no unions and no contracts, but I wanted to keep good people.
Yeah.
And so I had to pay attention to such things as cost of living and the folks who wanted to make more were willing to do more in the company.
Yeah.
My little company.
Right.
But I would have individual contracts I would give out every spring for the next year, because I wanted them to know every year what the next year was going to be.
Gotcha.
And it was up to me to be current on what I should be paying people in my business to keep good people. So, kind of
Very
like this
different.
podcast.
You had all those.
I had
balls,
all
you
the
know.
leverage
Yeah, yeah.
that I could pull.
And the responsibility for all of those things, where it's like that was something that
Yes, that's true.
in the big, pretty much businesses as large as Verizon and those, it's very structured. And,
You're right. You're
know,
right.
It's almost the
Yeah.
same way government would work.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I always thought it was good. It's like, I don't have to worry about that. You take care of what I should be paid, and I'll contribute the best I can
Yes.
for you, you know.
And you were hopeful they would recognize that.
Right.
And you moved right along in your
right.
company.
Yeah, yeah.
Because you were diligent, so to speak.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a good, you know, it is, if you buy into that kind of a company, it's like, you and the unions and all that structure, then, you know, you take care of that, and I don't have to worry about that. I never in my life would I have to go to somebody and say, hey, I need more money.
Yes,
you know?
yes.
Where today it's more commonplace, or I hear that young people are always looking for their next job, you know.
Well, that's right. How many employers did you have over your lifetime? How many different companies? You started with AT&T?
Well,
or another one?
Yeah. Well, Bell of Pennsylvania. I started with Bell of Pennsylvania, which prior to 1984 was part of that whole AT&T, Ma Bell, that whole structure.
I remember that.
Was a monopoly, and then they had this consent decree where they broke it up with the feds. They were sued by the antitrust.
Did that make sense to you then?
No. The key word being then. Okay. Working for them, you know, indoctrinated with all the Bell of Pennsylvania, AT&T stuff, it didn't make sense.
Yes.
But in hindsight, I'll say it this way, all these, the camera that we have in a tiny little phone like that.
You're right.
All of that. It's just incredible what happened because they broke that up.
Yes.
And I always say, if it weren't broken up, all we would have is a new color trim line.
Yeah.
You know, they were so slow to change anything.
Soviet Union-ish.
Yeah, really.
Because I've read and watched, I'm a big YouTube guy, how life is still in Russia. Not like it was during the Soviet Union. They do have, they're recognizing that they need some capitalism.
Yeah, you really do.
Yes.
People forced, I mean, I was real close to that turmoil that happened. I remember MCI, and then MCI disappeared, and this other group came in, took them over. The churn was incredible. AT&T thought they were going to do great. They had the manufacturing, what was Western Electric at that time.
I remember Western Electric.
And then Western Electric became pretty much different. Avaya, I think, was one of them.
Oh, my gosh,
Yeah. And then it became Lucent.
Yes.
And
what does Lucent mean? You know.
Yeah, Lucent is having brains, you know, lucent being the opposite of dim-witted, I guess. Lucent. And it comes from, comes from the Latin for
I was
light.
going to say, you know your Latin.
Yeah.
Your Latin.
Lux luminous. It has to do with brightness.
Yeah, I remember that Western Electric kind of logo was the word Western Electric, and some of it was made out of like lightning
Yeah,
strikes
it was. You're right.
or something
right,
like
yeah.
that.
And they were wholly owned by AT&T, and they were the supply arm of Bell. And back then, you might remember that big black phone.
Of course.
Dial even, and a big receiver. And in the movies, they could throw it.
You couldn't destroy those things.
They were made to last 20 years. And you rented them, see? So
that's right.
Yeah.
Which I never understood that, but
you rented it. And then they fought tooth and nail. They're saying that all this other stuff that would come onto the network was going to diminish the network and all this stuff. And they had all this, and none of it wound up to be true, but they had this elaborate interface in the beginning, and you had to stay on that side. We had to put these boxes up if somebody wanted to put on, what was it called? I forget. They had a term for things that they didn't own.
I see.
But
I see.
And I hear that back in the real early days, even light bulbs were done the same way.
Oh,
that
okay.
I've heard that. It's probably true, but so we had to get out of that. And like you say, Russia, if they're stuck in that, it's like there's just no progress,
And it's as much as everybody moans about authoritarianism, and particularly President Trump and all that. I mean, one man's authority is another man's leadership, in my opinion. But I think Russia, they're still kind of a top-down, hard line with some, again, capitalism sprinkled in there, maybe more and more. And communist China now is more and more capitalist.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I see the videos of some of those cities.
Ever see them? The bridge building. These things are amazing, the things that they do over there. They build a bridge out to nowhere.
Yes.
They slide this, it looks like a tractor trailer, they slide it out there, build the bridge, slide it further out. It's crazy. But they have some really
still,
good technology.
in my way of thinking, it's still too much central top-down planning.
Yeah, that's true.
And in the end, if you want to use capitalism to its best extent, that top-down central planning thing isn't going to get you there.
Right.
Again, my research that I do, which is up here after 79 years, I think that's the case. So there you have it, folks. A little bit of two old white guys. Our sign fell down. But we have fun with this, and I throw them up on YouTube from time to time. So I think I'll trash that one. That was just to get us started.
Give it to
Yeah. Okay. There's another part of the page, and so I'm not going to again throw this out. It stays in the stack
what else do we have?
next. Well, I circle it there if you want to give them a preview.
Yeah, there we go. Prediction of climate catastrophe loses some steam.
Yeah, maybe next time.
Yeah.
Okay, because I think we'd be dragging it out.
Yeah.
So you heard Tom hit the bell, which means we were done with the first topic. And we'll be back again. Until then, be sure to... You don't really subscribe. You just go to YouTube and search Doug's Interesting People, and we throw those up. Although, if you'd like to send money, to or maybe it would only encourage
Or you
us.
soupy sales?
Yeah, remember that? We'll talk about Soupy Sales someday, and Pee Wee Herman.
Yeah.
I've gotten into a bunch of stuff about Pee Wee Herman, who I really got a kick out of back in the day. Anyway, using my high-tech finger, I'm going to turn our camera off, and we'll catch you next time. Tom, see you
Take care
next
then.
time.